I am Moa,
I am Maja.
and we are the co-founders of earthmothersrising.
We walk alongside women in their conception, pregnancy, birth, and motherhood journeys.
The how is ever-changing because it is guided by the flow of our intuition.
The why is always the same. When women come together to heal, magic happens.
When women heal, we change the world.
Rise, earth, mothers, rise, 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 earth, mothers, rise, rise, rise.
Welcome to the Earth Mothers Rising podcast.
A space where the sacred birth workers Moa and Maja share about all things conscious conception, childbirth, pregnancy, and motherhood.
Always from a holistic perspective with a twist of magic. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. A little tired this morning. It's a dark, rainy, misty fall morning. But it's
Sounds
really good to be
cozy.
here with you. Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
cozy.
likewise.
How are you?
How am I? I'm good. I'm feeling a little bit emotional, to be honest. I think it's because of the topic that we're gonna talk about today. I was sitting with it a little bit here before you came on, and yeah, I got teary. And then once I saw your face, I got even more teary, but then I quickly, I don't know, we started chatting and I felt a shift, but now that I'm feeling into it again, I'm feeling emotional, but in a good way. In a good way. This is a topic that's very dear to my heart.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Should we say what the topic for today is?
So we're gonna talk conscious conception and spirit babies, which is something that we both are very drawn to, especially the spirit baby. Well, it goes hand in hand, I guess, conscious conception and spirit baby communication, but it's very dear to us, this topic.
Truly, truly, truly. So close to our hearts, and just something that for me at least just makes it sparks so much within me. And also maybe because I'm right in the middle of that right now. So
Yeah.
makes sense.
So what does it spark within you?
It just lights me up to think about and to talk about and to it's what I really read about and want to know all about. And also we'll get into that more, but just since I have been feeling my spirit baby closer, it has just been really at the center of my life and how I want to take care of myself and my why of wanting to heal and nourish, and it's guiding me in very many areas of my life right now.
Yeah. I must say it's very courageous of you to talk about this so openly, because at least for me, like when I was in that process, it wasn't something I talked about openly, especially the first journey of conception and pregnancy and spirit baby communication, because to me it's just, I don't know, it's just very vulnerable to share openly that you're in the process of trying to conceive, but also talking openly about spirit baby communication. Not now, not the person I am today, but the person I was back then. Like I had this strong connection to my spirit baby, my now 3-year-old daughter. And then also my now 6-month-old son, I've had such strong communication with their souls before conceiving. But it was this part of me, as always, you know, when you're torn between your ego and your intuition, like, am I just making this up? I sort of had to wait till I actually gave birth to my daughter to like prove to myself that my intuition was right and the communication was not my imagination or me making things up. It was actually her soul that I was communicating with.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure. And like it helps that I have this community and I have you and so many women now around me that really have felt this too. And that truly helps. But there's definitely that feeling for me as well. Am I making this up? And I had a conversation with my partner yesterday. I've actually been referring to our future baby, like our first baby, as the name that we want for him and as a him. And I have a really strong sense of his energy and
The
so, but he
healing that he's
said,
going to bring, maybe.
yes, and his just, yeah, for sure. Like I have a really strong sense of him. But my partner had this fear and expressed this fear of, but what if it's not him? What if it's someone else? And will that baby feel as welcome as the baby that you're imagining or seeing or feeling would? And I understand that fear, and that of course makes me think of that. But what if this is all just something in my head? And in a way, it might be. I'm not afraid of not loving our baby when they come. That's just not a fear of mine. But of
But I think
course, I
it's
hear what he's
men
saying.
because maybe it's men because they have such a hard time relating to that kind of intuition and communication and, you know, just that knowing that you have deep inside. For him, it's like a totally different language that he doesn't even speak. Obviously, men, they have intuition too, but it's very different and very, very vague, I think.
Mm,
And it's so hard for them to listen to that voice. It's hard for women too, but it is stronger. And it's
mm,
more obvious to us when we don't listen as well. So I think it's also a matter of him not even being able to relate to what the F you're talking about, you know.
might be. I mean, he really hears me, and I can see that it stirs things in him when I talk about our spirit baby, and that he feels that connection too. And we're it's very clear what name we would give to a boy, but we don't really have a consensus for names for girls. And I
Yeah.
think we both feel that it might be because there's someone coming. Really, like it's so much more tangible. So I think there's something there, but as you say, it's not as strong for him, and his logical brain gets in the way more than mine does, I think.
For sure. Yeah. It just strikes me now when we're talking about it. My partner as well, he's had a hard time believing in my strong knowing, especially with our son. Like, I knew that we would conceive a son, and when I got pregnant, I was like, yeah, it's him, it's a boy. And in the beginning of the pregnancy, when I was referring to him as a him, my partner was the same. But what if it's a girl? You can't know that. Yes, I can. I know it's a boy. But then like as the weeks went on, he was more and more convinced as well that it was a boy. And towards the end of the pregnancy, I started doubting my intuition. Well, I wasn't doubting my intuition, but it was that fear again that I was talking about just before. Like, what if I'm just making this up? What if it's actually a girl? And here I am telling everyone that it's a boy. What if it's a girl? What are people going to say? You know? So that's why I started saying, or, well, you don't know, maybe it is a girl. And then my partner was like, you know, it's a boy. And it was a boy, of course. But yeah. Should we start maybe telling the story or our journeys from the start?
I think so. You want to start?
I'll start.
Good.
I don't know why I'm getting nervous.
Interesting.
So my spirit baby journey started, it was in 2019. I was living in Mallorca, in Palma. And at that time, I didn't even have a partner. I was single. And I was at a point in my life where I was, you know, at that point when you're so just happy being on your own, you don't have a single thought of, you know, meeting someone. I was just so completely happy on my own. And I had also started waking up more and more to my spirituality or my gifts, if you will. I was working as a massage therapist back then. And I remember I had a client who was a medium. And I was so curious about this. And I don't exactly remember what we were talking about, but I remember so strongly how she told me, you know, you have this gift too. And I was like, what? Really? I got so excited because this was something that I was so curious about, but I couldn't imagine me having that gift. But obviously, I wanted to start exploring this. And more I was diving into spirituality and listening to podcasts. But the concept of spirit babies was nothing that ever, you know, crossed my path, or I had no idea about that concept back then. Then there was one afternoon after work, I was in the yoga studio at the place where I was working on my own. I had done a yoga session, yin yoga, so I was completely, you know, you're so relaxed and loosey-goosey after a yin yoga session. And I went into Shavasana. No guidance or nothing, just me on my own. And I started having all these visions. And suddenly my grandma appeared in the room. And then I'm not sure if it was her showing me the spirit baby or if they came together or whatever happened. It feels like she was the one showing me the spirit baby. That's how it felt. So I guess that's what she did. So suddenly I saw this big field of grass appearing and flowers, and it was like a sunny day. And this blonde girl walking through this field of grass and flowers. And I just knew, that's my daughter. That's my future daughter. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps now when I'm talking about it. But it was such a strong knowing, and I have no idea where this came from. This was completely new, but I just knew that was my future daughter. So that was my first encounter with her spirit. So this is in 2019. And then also later on that summer, I started having other visions in meditation. I saw my partner in a meditation, like his face, which is also very curious because we met on Tinder. So fast forward a couple of months now. I was in Sweden. I was about to go back to Mallorca, but I broke my rib. So I was put on what do you call it? Like sick leave. I couldn't go back to work. and I was working in Mallorca. I was like, oh, I might as well stay another couple of weeks in Sweden now because I've got nothing to do anyway. So I stayed. I was bored. I went on Tinder. No intention whatsoever of meeting anyone. Because, like I said, I was at a point in life where I was completely happy being single and on my own. And that's when you meet someone, isn't it? when you stop looking, they appear. But I remember so strongly seeing his face on Tinder. And the first picture, he wasn't even attractive to me on that picture. Like, it wasn't someone that would usually catch my attention, like appearance-wise. But I looked at it and I was like, I recognize him. Who is this? And I asked my friend, I was like, hey, who is this? Do you recognize him? Is he from Mora or something, where I grew up? And she was like, no, I have no idea who this is. So that's what caught my attention, like some kind of recognition. So I started looking at his other pictures, and then he was attractive. So I swiped, and he had super liked me. So yeah, that's how we met. And we started talking instantly and very quickly became a couple. And I just, like, I also remember after our first date, I called up my friend and I said, I met the father of my children. But then, since that girl I had seen and the girl that I knew was my daughter, she was blonde. Peter, his parents, they're from Serbia. And Peter, he's got very dark hair, very dark eyes. I couldn't make sense of how could he possibly, have a blonde daughter. It's impossible. He's got no blonde genes or blue-eyed genes in him whatsoever. But our daughter, she's blonde. She's got very bright eyes with a little tiny brown, like, piece in them. But yeah. But that's also funny because that started doubting my intuition once again. Like, no, maybe I was just making things up back then. We can't have a blonde child. Then fast forward to 2020, the end of 20. No, hang on. Yeah, end of 2020. We started trying for a baby. It was very exciting, once you have that conversation. Like, you both know that you want to have children together. Oh, my son's awake. Hang on, I gotta go pick him up.
Rise, earth, mothers rise.
Hello, little one. He wants to chew the microphone again.
Always.
Where was I? Yeah, we started trying for a baby. Or we had the conversation that, yeah, let's start trying. And it's very exciting, Very new to me because I'd never been with someone that I actually wanted children with. It suddenly became very real. It took only like 2 months, 3 maybe, until I conceived. A big part of the story here is that, as I was talking about in the last episode, I have a long journey with eating disorders and overtraining, which resulted in me going very long periods of time without ovulating, without having a cycle. So that was a big fear of mine. Once we started trying, like, it struck me that, oh shit, I really need to fix this now. But I was still having irregular long cycles. But I did conceive. That's also a funny story on its own. Peter was actually sick with COVID. And at that point, I had a job in a prison as a prison guard. I don't remember if I mentioned that in the last episode, did I? I don't think I did.
I'm not sure.
Oh. Maybe. But I was home because he was sick in COVID. I was home from work because back then you were not allowed to go to work. Like, if someone in your family was sick, you had to stay home for a week. So I was being forced to stay at home from work. and I was ovulating. He was very sick with COVID, and I forced him to have sex with me.
Wow.
Well, I didn't force him, but he wasn't in the mood for it. Let's say that. But I conceived. But it's like in hindsight, I knew from the beginning that something wasn't right with that pregnancy. Just some kind of inner knowing. And that pregnancy actually ended in a miscarriage. Oh, I forgot to mention the spirit baby communication. So I knew I was going to conceive right before this because I did a tarot reading on my own, like on myself, and I got a card with a ladybug on it. And that's how the ladybug became my spirit baby sign for that pregnancy and my daughter. I just knew with that ladybug that it meant that I was going to get pregnant. So this ladybug has been a very strong sign following that whole journey of conceiving and pregnancy and through that miscarriage and all of that. But since I had had long irregular cycles, the midwife wanted me to have an early ultrasound just to date the pregnancy, even though I knew when I had ovulated. But no, she wanted me to make sure. So I went for an early vaginal ultrasound. And again, this was in the middle of COVID, so my partner wasn't allowed to come with me inside. So I was there alone with the doctor, and he tells me there's no heartbeat. This was one of the most painful moments of my life, I think. And I was in total denial. I couldn't trust him. I started, as you do, desperately Googling, like, is there a chance that at 9 weeks or whatever it was that you're not able to see the heartbeat? Maybe there will be a heartbeat if you go back a week later. Because that's what he told me always in this situation. What we do is that you come back a week later and you have another doctor look at it just to make sure that we're not telling you something that's not correct. They always do that in Sweden, apparently. So I got an appointment a week later, and that whole week is one of the worst weeks in my life too, because you're just, hoping, and you're torn between not knowing and hoping, and yeah. And then I went back to the hospital. There was another doctor, and he could confirm that there was no heartbeat. And that wasn't as painful as the week before, because then I had a week of processing, even though I was still hoping that there would be a heartbeat. I had sort of started to accept. I feel like I want to read something that I wrote after this had happened. This is something I revisited a couple of weeks ago, reading it again. It's something that I do come back to again and again. And it struck me this morning that maybe I want to read this, so I'll do that. As we sat there playing cards with one of my favorite music artists playing in the background, tears started building up in the corner of my eyes. I didn't even know why. The music just had that effect on me. Nostalgia. So many teenage memories attached to it. It wasn't even a sad song. It just made me emotional, in a beautiful way. The past week had been a roller coaster of emotions. I guess that added to my vulnerability, even though I had gone through the worst phase of sorrow already. The next song came on. I sang along, almost mumbling, quietly, as if I didn't want to drown out and override the beautiful vocals and ruin the song. I knew every word off by heart. They flowed automatically, the words. Not until I sang the sentence did I realize what I had just sung. Like a sharp knife through my heart, and the tears started, ever so slowly, streaming down my cheeks. while so painful, it was just also so, so beautiful, so relieving. For a mother who fell sick and for a child who never came. I had never reflected on the significance of those words until now, when I was a mother to a child who never came. He looked at me. Are you crying? Surprised. Just moments ago, we had been joking around and making fun of each other, like we so often did. Darling, why are you crying? His facial expression. I wish I could describe it in words. Like he was in excruciating pain by seeing me cry. Did you not hear the lyrics? For a mother who fell sick and for a child who never came. And now my eyes completely overflooded with tears. Quiet tears. So beautiful. So healing. So then and there, I remember that moment so vividly when we sat there. It's like it struck me in that moment what a healing journey I was just about to embark on. And coming back to the spirit babies, that is what helped me heal. That is what helped me trust. That is what helped me believe, because I had this strong, strong knowing that there was a daughter wanting to arrive. She was just waiting for the right moment. And while I was going through the worst pain of my life, I was also filled with a totally contradicting feeling, if you will. Like such a strong inner knowing and hope and so much happiness and trust and belief. Like a very opposing feeling to the huge sorrow and pain I was also going through, like two feelings coexisting, if that makes sense. And I just knew that this was the beginning of the best thing that would ever happen to me. I knew this was happening for a reason. And sitting here now, I really know why that happened, because I can make so much sense of why I went through what I did. It's like it was the seed planted for this sacred birthwork journey. I can draw so much wisdom from that experience. So that helped me, but also the spirit baby communication helped me. Suddenly I was just seeing ladybugs more and more everywhere. I also have a journey with HPV and cervical dysplasia. That might be something we'll talk about later as I tell the story about conceiving my son, because that's also something that's been a big healing journey and something that escalated after the pregnancy with my daughter. But I had been to the hospital for a checkup, and I told the doctor that I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the examination because we were trying to conceive and I was hoping that I was pregnant because I had just had my ovulation. And she was like, not very, intuitive or emotional kind of person, just very blunt. And she was like, let's just do a pregnancy test and then we'll have a look with the ultrasound and make sure you're not pregnant, and then we'll do the examination. And I was like, oh, well, but are you sure you're going to be able to see if I'm pregnant this early on? She was like, yeah, we'll make sure. We'll have a look. And we did a pregnancy test. It was negative. She checked with the ultrasound, nothing there. So my heart was obviously torn in pieces, because after having gone through a miscarriage, every ovulation after that, you're so hopeful that this time it's going to be it, but it's also twice the fear that it's not going to be it, So she said, no, you're not pregnant. And then I remember driving back home after that doctor's visit, and I was driving like 80, 90 kilometers per hour, like very fast, across the bridge back where we lived back then. And suddenly a ladybug landed on my windshield. like driving that fast, and a ladybug manages to land on my windshield, and it stayed there despite the speed and crawled from one corner of the windshield to the other. And then as I parked the car at home, it flew off. So that ladybug, I knew it was her spirit who came to tell me that, don't worry, Mom, I'm on my way. I will be here. So like again and again, that ladybug came to give me trust and hope and communicating to me that she was on her way. Just be patient. I also remember early that summer, so this is still in 2021, I did a new moon ritual in the new moon in Gemini to call in a soul, like a little ceremony, because I read in my horoscope that this would be a very powerful new moon for me to manifest. And I even think it said something about calling in like baby or fertility, or if you're trying to be pregnant, something like that. So that's why I did this ritual. It's nothing I've ever done before. Now I do these kind of rituals all the time, not to call in spirits, but you know, to manifest or let go. And then I forgot about this. And then at the end of that summer, I was still working in the prison. I went to a women's retreat, and I came there on a Thursday knowing that I didn't want to be working in the prison anymore. And I had started my studio about 6 months ago. So I was doing both. I was doing the studio and the healing and the tarot readings on the side with big dreams for the future to do that full time one day. But I came there on the Thursday thinking that maybe in a year or something, I'll quit my job and I'll start doing this full time. Because I had this idea in my head that I wanted to have a stable job and a stable income, because I was trying to get pregnant and I would soon be on maternity leave, so I might as well stay there, you know. But I left Sunday afternoon knowing that I have to go to my manager tomorrow morning and quit, because I had met so many inspirational women during this retreat that were, you know, they were doing their thing. They were healers, they were yoga teachers, holistic coaches. So they opened up my eyes to like see that you can actually do this for a living. So that's what I did. I went to my manager Monday morning, told her I'm quitting. And then I had 2 months. Is that what you call it? 2 months notice. I had to stay there for another 2 months before I could start doing my healing thing full time. So mid-October was my last day. Mid-December, I conceived. I know that it was a shift I had to make room for her spirit to arrive. And to add to the story, I did a pregnancy test and got my big fat positive plus on the full moon in Gemini. This is something I realized
Goosebumps.
afterwards. Yeah. I was like, hang on, wasn't it the full moon on Sunday when I did the pregnancy test? And I went back in the calendar. I was like, yeah, it was. And didn't I do a ritual to call in a spirit baby? When was that? And I went back in my diaries to June, that summer. And it's like, what the? It was the new moon in Gemini. And I remember that too. It said in my horoscope, within 6 months, what you're trying to call in is going to manifest. And it was like literally exactly 6 months on the full moon. I knew she was there. I was pregnant. And like I said, with the first pregnancy, I knew all along that something just wasn't right. Like some kind of inner knowing. And very well so, it ended in a miscarriage. But with this pregnancy, even though I had fears, because obviously after a miscarriage, another pregnancy is very scary, because you're scared you're going to have to go through that again. And even though I had that fear, it was totally different. I knew, even with those fears, I knew that no, this time it wouldn't end badly, it would end up in a successful pregnancy. I had my first midwife's appointment middle of January or February or something, ice cold winter. And we're sitting in the waiting room at the midwife's office. And on the table in front of us, my partner, he says, "Hey, look." And there's a ladybug. As like a sign to confirm to me that there's nothing to worry about. We had our daughter. It was a daughter, like I knew all along. She's blonde. So Peter, despite his very dark hair and dark eyes, can have blonde, almost blue-eyed children. He jokes sometimes that he's not the father. But all along this whole time, I've had such a strong communication with my daughter's soul. Like the kind of person she would be, the kind of healing that she would bring into my life, the healing I had to do before she was able to arrive, but also the healing that would start once she arrived. I'm sorry, guys. My son is really crazy over here. I hope it's not too distracting or disturbing.
I mean, it works for me over here, but yeah. I hope. Yeah.
I think the
it'll be
people
fine.
listening to this podcast are the kind of people with an understanding what it's like to have a baby.
Yes. And all the respect and also if you watch on YouTube, you can see his super cute little face as well.
Yeah. You suck.
Yeah.
You cute.
So that's a tip. Yeah, such a cutie.
Speaking of watching on YouTube, I actually pulled out that card that I got. If anyone wants to see it, I thought it would be. This is the card that I got when I knew I was going to conceive my daughter. Yes. So that's how the ladybug became my spirit baby sign for her. And those ladybugs, they keep appearing in my life. It's very powerful, very cool.
Wow. Wow.
So this
so cool.
experience that I've had, like my personal experience, is what's making me feel so drawn towards spirit baby communication, not only for myself, but in my work with others. So it's something that I've been starting to use more and more. And I've done it without realizing too. Very often when I do healing with someone, I can sense spirits that are about to arrive, or I very often see the souls of their already earthside children as well. But unconsciously, I've been working with spirit baby communication for a very long time, and it's becoming more and more obvious that it's a very big part of my work and my calling in this world.
Yeah, and such a gift. And I've been to a spirit baby communication circle with you, and it was just pure magic. And just something that really brought us together, or something that we both really share a passion for. And it was really some of those conversations that we had about spirit babies that really sparked the friendship that we have. And also our spirit babies are such a core part of guiding us.
They are very present in this work, and they are very helpful. Talking about new moons and full moons and rituals, we did it was a new moon ritual, right? Yeah, new moon ritual.
Yeah.
Where we connected to one another in the ether, energy-wise, and did this. And I had this strong communication from our spirit babies that like they sort of had a like future perspective of the work that we're doing, and they kept saying over and over again, if only you could see what I see, you would never doubt yourself. Like again and again, if only you could see what I see right now, you would never doubt yourself.
Yes, goosebumps again. Wow. Wow, and it just warms my heart so much, the connection that we feel and that you saw our spirit babies have.
Mm.
That they're already like in relationship
Yeah.
with each other wherever it is that they reside now.
Yeah, they have a very
Mm,
strong soul connection. Do you want
so
to tell
beautiful.
more about like your journey and your curiosity
Yes, I would
towards
love to.
spirit
And also,
babies?
yes, yes. And also, first, just thank you for sharing your story. It's such a beautiful story.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Rise, earth, mother's rise.
My spirit baby journey. So as you said before, it's kind of vulnerable to talk about it as you're in the middle of it, and like I don't have the answers yet, really, or the confirmation that my feelings were right. It's a little scary, as well as speaking about this, as my family might be tuning in as well. So hello, family, if you're here. Where to start? Talking about conscious conception, I think that journey really started almost, say, a year and a half ago, when I started feeling really strongly that I wanted to come off the pill. And it was just this really intuitive decision in a time where I wasn't very in tune with myself. So it was a really, really strong intuitive thing. And with that came this whole hormone balance healing journey that also led me to this, to doing the mentorship, and to start listening to Anna's podcast, and yeah, all those things. So it started then, but when I first really felt our spirit baby was almost a year ago, just under a year ago, last November, when we had a little miscalculation of what day of my cycle it was. And yeah, there was a big chance that, and I saw that right away, because just like 2 days after or something, or the day after, I used natural cycles then. So uh, just the day after, it confirmed my ovulation, and I was like, okay, that was not the plan. And we talked about it, and we, I think I felt really strongly that I
You were
might be
ready?
pregnant.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and
Yeah.
also that I might be pregnant, and that I really, really wanted the child if I was. Like, I knew so strongly that I'm ready, or I was really afraid that I wasn't ready, and all of the feels, but I knew that it was out of the question for me to have an abortion or something at that, where I was then. And
As you're
so communicating
talking,
that.
I'm feeling so strongly that this totally happened for a reason, in order for you to understand that you're ready to be a mother now.
Yes, 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 for sure, for sure. Um and it's catalyzed so much in my relationship as well, because my partner did not feel super ready. I mean, if that was the case and I did not want to have an abortion, he was gonna be so supportive, and we talked about that, but he was not in a place where he was ready. And that really started so many conversations and so much work between us that was really, really important. But I do believe that, how do you say, get the egg got fertilized. um, but
It never
so
implanted.
yeah, it never implanted. That's the word. So I just got my period a little late, which was also really intense, knowing for like a week or so, and then having my period be late and not yet getting a positive pregnancy test and all of that. So it was just an intense few days, and I really got to experience feeling the hope that I would be pregnant, which I hadn't expected really at that point. So as you
And
say,
how was that, getting it torn away from you? Like when your period arrived, what was your feeling?
I was so sad. I was so heartbroken. Truly, I get a little teary thinking about that, because I was just so heartbroken. It was really, really hard because I felt really alone, because me and my partner weren't on the same page. So I felt really lonely. So we were at my partner's parents' house when we understood that, like, oops, I might be pregnant or get pregnant now. So and we were driving home from there and talking about our feelings about it. It was just crazy because this fox just ran out in the street, and we slowed down, and he was just like, or she, but I feel like it was he, just kept running like in front of the car, not just past over the road, but just kept running
I'm
in front of the
getting
car.
so much shivers and goosebumps all through my body now.
Right? And I just really felt this is a sign. There's something about this. And so I looked it up, like what a fox symbolizes, and one of the first things that it said was fertility. I was really sure it was a sign, and that's how a fox became my spirit baby sign. I didn't connect that really. I just felt that it was a sign and it was something to do with fertility. So this was just this huge experience for me, really, really connecting me to how much I wanted to be a mother. And I really feel that it's our spirit baby who just nudging us on to have the conversations we needed to have to really catalyze our process in becoming ready to be parents. Truly. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. Because we were not in sync. And I was really impatient. And I have had a really hard time waiting. And most cycles, getting my period has been hard. And there's always been hope in some way that maybe this time, even though we've been avoiding it. And yeah. So
I can relate to that so much. And I think a lot of women listening also can.
yeah,
And thank you for sharing that.
thank you. Thank you. That's so true. I do believe it's so important for us to talk about as well. The roller coaster of wanting to become a mother and having your cycle and waiting and not knowing, and yes, and the sorrow when your bleed comes. I do feel like I knew that I've known for quite a while now that it's a little boy. I know what his name is gonna be, and me and my partner have been very, very clear on that this is the name for a boy that we'll have. But it's really this summer when we've been talking about it, when I've been talking about with you and other women in the mentorship, that I have really understood more about spirit babies, truly daring to put into words that I feel something, I feel someone, I feel my baby close. So it was actually this call where you, me, and our beautiful sister mentorship sister Jasha were talking. This
Oh, I remember this now. Yeah.
yeah, and we were talking, and you were asking like, so girls, how do you feel where are you at in wanting kids? And we shared our stories, and that's when I really, for the first time, said, yes, I'm feeling this little boy.
You
I don't
said it out
know.
loud for the first
Yes.
time.
Yes. And it was just beautiful to be able to share that and to feel the reality of that. And
I
then,
understand that it is scary because, like I said in the beginning too, it was the same. Even though I got it confirmed to me that my intuition was right with my daughter, when I started sensing my son, at that time I actually started daring to speak out loud that I know that there is a boy waiting to arrive. It's such a powerful and magical confirmation of how strong your intuition is, and also to dare to challenge yourself to actually say it out loud and speak it out loud. I think it makes it even more real and powerful then.
our logical mind is very strong for most of us, and it's hard to convince of matters of the heart sometimes. But the knowing in my body was really, really strong. And it helps to talk about it with other people and realize I'm not alone in having this kind of thing. So many mothers do before they're pregnant, but also during pregnancy. And my own mother has described this feeling of seeing me and being like, yes, I know you. I knew your spirit. Like I'm not sure exactly what words she'd use, but this feeling of knowing my energy and a feeling of who I was already.
I think that so many women feels this. Maybe not everyone, but I think many women listening who have children, they will be able to understand that, oh, I've actually also experienced spirit baby communication.
Yes, I truly believe that as well. So I started talking about it with you. And then I also started talking about it with my partner and started being interested in and looking it up. And I started getting this sense of that this is a really sensitive soul, that he's quiet and in tune with his emotions and really sensitive, and that he really, really needs from me and my partner to be truly ready and truly, truly welcome him. He's not one of those little surprise babies that just shows up and
And maybe that, oh, I'm getting shivers now. I'm getting the message that that's what he also wanted to communicate to you guys when it was, because it would have been a surprise pregnancy if this had happened a year ago, and that was not his way to arrive. So
yes.
he wanted to make his appearance obvious, like he wanted to instill or start the communication with you, his mother. But part of the communication was that I'm here, but I can't physically arrive just yet because this is not my way of arriving.
Exactly. And also, like, I need this from you, mom and dad. Like, I really need you to be on the
Talk.
same page, talk, communicate, have a strong relationship, prioritize each other. And that is so cool. Maybe I should move on to, because when you and I met in person, in the mentorship gathering, we were just hanging out, a few of us, and you turned to me and said, I think you need a reading. Let's do a reading. And you did this beautiful reading. It was not very much about spirit babies. And when you asked, I think you asked in the end if it felt if I felt something else that I wanted to ask about or something. And I said, do you feel something about a spirit baby, maybe? um, and you pull this card, this beautiful, beautiful card with such. Which card was it?
It would have been 10 of cups.
Yes, that sounds right. So it was this card with a couple really happy, and just rainbows behind them, and just this bliss, this love bliss. And you said, you're definitely with the person you're supposed to be with. And I felt, yes, I know. But you also said that maybe right now the focus should be our relationship and us being really strong, and that our baby needed us to have this really loving, joyful, strong bond, which we do truly, but sometimes you need that reminder to really,
Yeah.
really.
And maybe there's more to it as well. Even though you are super happy and joyful and in love, maybe there's like, there could be even more.
Yes, yes. And just a reminder of, if you tend to this, if you really pour your energy into this, it will be even stronger and bloom even more. So that was a beautiful, beautiful message, and really in line with what I already felt for this little soul, that he really, really, really needs us to have a strong bond, and that we need to be really ready for him. So it's just really beautiful to speak to you about it and have you support me in believing and really really being with this. And then we had a beautiful, beautiful new moon ceremony where part of what I called in was the spirit baby, and telling him that we love him so much and we're longing for him, and that he has such a safe place here whenever he wants to come. Pretty shortly after that, and then we had the spirit baby circle as well, and you were really guiding and helping us to just trust what comes, and that's when I really got the fox as the sign for the spirit baby. And I said,
so you could make sense of it.
Yes, I finally understood that this is his sign, and I had already, because I just love buying little baby things. I can't help myself sometimes. So I've just been doing that a little bit, just as something to kind of channel this intense longing that I have. So
I want to say that that's actually a beautiful way of calling in a spirit, because you're telling them I'm not saying you have to buy things, but it could be just something little. It's telling them and communicating to them that, hey, like, this is for you. We're ready for you. Whenever
yeah,
you're ready, this is here for you. So it's a very
yes,
powerful way of calling them in.
yes, and connecting, probably because you're getting ready physically, also might help you connect to get ready emotionally as well. And so I had gotten this super cute little body with forest animals, and one of the animals on it is a fox, or little foxes. And it's also the thing that I bought that my partner really, really likes. That he's like, oh, this one is really cute. He really likes that one. I then understood that fox is his sign, and I told you, and you said that you had a fox running around your backyard like a lot this summer, and then he came like the day
and
after
it's
something.
been very like close up, like in my face. Like, I've been doing healing in our greenhouse this summer with my clients, And this fox has been like literally running around the greenhouse, standing outside the window, staring at me as I give healing to clients.
Wow.
And also, it's been around when we've had our circles in the mentorship community. It's been like I've been sitting outside sometimes. I'm pointing now here outside the window, but I've been sitting outside on my little yoga deck sometimes. And that fox has been running around in the garden as we've had our circles. So, yeah.
So cool. And you sent me this video of this fox the day after or something. I had told you
Oh,
that.
did I? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I think you did. And it was just
Oh,
really...
yeah. The fox came in my garden again. Yeah, I recorded the fox running around in the garden. Yeah, of
Yes,
course. I remember
yes.
that.
Yes.
I thought you meant I sent you a video on Instagram or something of a random fox.
Oh no, the actual fox that has been staring at you and like really trying to get your attention all this summer. And it's just so cool that he is communicating with you as well, and it just strengthens this feeling that there's this really intense connection between our spirit babies and what we're
Us
doing.
too.
Yes, the two of us and what we are doing in the world.
It's like it's been here trying to point you in your direction. Like it's been wanting to tell me to connect to you. And
Yes.
eventually we got the message.
Yes. Eventually, yes. Exactly. We had that beautiful, beautiful circle, and got to share our communications with our spirit babies. And after that, I also shared with my partner, and it was really beautiful because one of the messages was that I need to be very patient. I'm having a hard time waiting for this next step, and that I needed to be patient. And
because he needs you to be patient with him as his mother when he's here. So part of the lesson right now is being patient in the conception journey.
yes, and
isn't that so hard to learn or to accept, because you're so eager to meet him, but part of it is that you can't meet him just yet, maybe.
exactly. And it was this really big message of that he's very much like his father in that sense, that he needs time and that he will not be rushed. Like it's not gonna happen. So I will have to learn to be patient. And
So how do you feel about where you're at in your journey right now? Like when you go through your menstrual cycle, like when you ovulate, when your bleed arrives. I know your bleed started a couple of days ago. How is that right now for you?
So how I feel now? Well, I want to back up a little bit again and say that when I communicated this about patience with my partner, that really, really made him feel safer, I think. And me saying that was really, really important for his process. And I've also felt, because I have been on this antidepressant medicine for, well, about a year and a half as well. And I did start to talk to my doctor about coming off the medication about 6 months ago. And then he said that the risks are really, really small with the kind that I'm taking, and that the most important thing is that like the risks of getting pregnant, and of course, are really, really small, and that I should more think of my mental health, and that is the most important thing for a child, that I am healthy and good and able to be
Oh,
there
you
as a
mean
mother.
that you mean the risks of taking the medications if you were to fall pregnant?
Yes, exactly. I was thinking about it and asking and wanting to come off the medication, but then also not really feeling ready, and where I was then. And when he said, make those decisions separately. Like, the most important thing is that you're good if you're gonna have a child, and the risks are super small. So I really felt relieved to hear that then, which of course was really clear sign that I was not ready, or clear communication that I wasn't ready to be without that medication just yet. But then I have been getting the feeling more and more that I want to come off it, and we've been learning so much about the very, very sensitive, very, very well thought of, balanced processes that occur as you grow a child inside of you, and as you birth, and all your hormones and signals, substances in your brain. And it's such an intricate and sensitive system that really, really should not be messed with. And while there's been studies showing that there's not like risk of death or something very major like that, with the medicine that I'm taking, I just did not feel confident that the risks to this very intricate process aren't there, or I are understood. My intuition was really telling me it's time, and also for myself, but also I wanted to do this before I got pregnant, and then I talked to my partner about it again, and we finally were like on the same page, feeling that we're ready. And if I would get pregnant, that's just really happy news, and then that's what's supposed to be. And whether I'm completely off the medication or not, but I have this really strong feeling that I want to stop taking it before we really more start actively trying. So that's what I'm in the process of doing now. So I'm you never know exactly how long it's gonna take. It's supposed to, you need to do it slowly so that your brain has time to adjust and recalibrate its levels of the substances and all of that. So I'm doing it slowly, but I'm pretty much probably halfway through that process. But we'll see. So that's also a really strong communication I've gotten from my spirit baby and my intuition about this.
It strikes me now, do you remember at the gathering how we were having conversation, and I asked you, like, I don't remember exactly what brought us into that topic, but you said that you were on medication, and I asked you if you had thought of not taking them, or had thought of like other options, and not in any way trying to convince you to get off them. I was just like sort of gently trying to get your thoughts, in that direction.
Yeah.
That just makes sense now in hindsight, that was probably your spirit baby communicating to me, to communicate to you, to nudge you in that direction.
Yes, because you were really, and I think you conveyed to me as well that you had a feeling that I don't need that anymore.
You were ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
that's
I said
what you
that,
said.
but you don't need it. Yeah.
And I wasn't completely sure yet, and it's a big decision, of course. So, but you really spoke to something within me that felt that as well. I don't need it anymore. I'm ready. I shouldn't be on it anymore. It's not doing the good that it's supposed to do anymore. It's not. And it's so cool that our spirit babies are probably super involved in that, because I also felt so safe to come off the medication once we really started to work together and really had this daily communication. And my life just felt so filled with purpose and just the safety net of this wonderful, wonderful, supportive woman that I was just constantly talking to. And
I'm smiling from the inside out as you say that. And I
so
wanted to say
beautiful.
that earlier, like it feels so like such a blessing to be part of this journey, to get to witness you in this process. And I just feel so blessed to have that space in your life and in your journey right now.
Oh, wow. Wow, I feel so blessed to have you. And as I said, your presence in my life, in my daily life, is just making me feel so safe to do this. And I believe that our spirit babies knows that as well, and knew that already, that we need each other. And my spirit baby knew that I needed you to feel safe in this journey and needed your support.
I wish that everyone could feel the shivers and goosebumps that I have right now and that I've been experiencing throughout this whole recording. It's so strong and it's so powerful and it's so magical. Wow.
Beautiful. So beautiful. And yes, I feel complete now, I think, in telling this story, because right now, where am I? Oh, no, you asked me before, how do I feel right now? I feel very safe in that my spirit baby is coming. And I hope I don't have to experience loss and things like that on the journey, because that's hard and I don't want to, but I know that if I do, it's an important step in the process. And right now I feel very excited, and I still do feel that little, like when my period was coming, I was hoping that maybe it's just an implantation bleed and it's not my period actually. And I so want to be pregnant, really, but I don't feel this huge sorrow about getting my period either, because I know that it's really close and that it's all unfolding as it is supposed to be, and I'm taking the steps that I need to be taking to be ready. So, and I think that is something that spirit baby communication can really give you, is that sense of trust and purpose and knowing what you need to do.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say as well. Spirit baby communication, whether that's something you do on your own, however you do that, or whether that is seeking guidance from a spirit baby medium, is something I really encourage all women who are in the process of conception or trying to get pregnant to dive into.
Yes.
Because that journey, not for everyone, but it's gonna involve challenges. It's gonna challenge you in terms of trusting the process, trusting yourself, trusting your inner voice, and just seeking out that guidance or connecting to your spirit baby is gonna help you in that process, no matter how or what your process looks like. It's very powerful. So I really want to encourage everyone to dive into that. And I also want to wrap up by saying, if only you could see what I see, you would never doubt yourself.
So beautiful. So perfect. And I think maybe next week we'll have to talk about that, but that we get to hear about Mios, the little boy talking in the
That
background, our
maybe
third.
that's why he's been so impatient here and talking and chatting away, because he wants to get his voice heard.
Yes,
Hey,
like this
mom,
little my story.
tell them my story. Yeah.
Yeah. My
Don't
story
worry,
now.
son. I'm going to tell them your story. Your story is very magical and very powerful as well. It actually brings me to tears just
Mm,
thinking about it. So, yeah, that's
yeah.
part 2.
Thank you then for listening to our stories and for being here. And I hope this really brought you inspiration and hope for your own journey. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. And thank you, Mua, for sharing your story.
Likewise.
When women come together to heal, magic happens. When women heal, we change the world. Rise, earth, mothers rise.